How many Shrek movies are there?
Like 14?
Okay, that sounds right. Hey everybody, and welcome to MCUEx, the weekly show where we discuss the top stories in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm Doug Herring.
And I'm Nick Fox.
And we got a lot to talk about today, so let's get started.
Let's dive right in.
Alright, so our first story today. The Russo brothers tease Captain Marvel for the Avengers Infinity War, and they don't rule out appearances from Netflix heroes. This is exciting.
No, this is absolutely amazing. I mean, look, the question since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has started is whether there will ever be crossover into the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe from the smaller Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And we had a touch of that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but to actually have the leads...
Right. To have characters that started on TV make their way to films.
And I mean, not even TV, Netflix.
Netflix, right,
Which is amazing. But I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the Defenders are the most appropriate to merge in.
Yeah.
I think the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. team would not fit in with the larger MCU.
I mean, I think maybe we could have had in Age of Ultron when you have Fury on the helicarrier, which we found out was sent by Coulson.
Right.
I think you could have had, like, Fitzsimmons in the background or something.
Just pressing buttons.
Yeah, something like that.
The smartest people in the universe as established by Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
And they're just in the background, like...
Just pushing random buttons, playing Galaga.
Well, the Galaga guy was on the helicarrier.
Was on the Age of Ultron helicarrier?
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
You didn't know he was on it?
No.
Hold on. Age of Ultron. What are we in? 2 minutes in, we're already Googling, everybody. Good show. Age of
MCUEx, where we Google things.
Helicarrier.
The new tagline of the show. MCUEx, where we Google things.
It's ex-MCU. Or it's formerly about the MCU.
Got
now
it.
it's about
right.
Googling.
Now that you joined, it's about whatever bullshit we talk about.
You're welcome. Images, maybe? I think everybody's just more infatuated with the image of the helicarrier. And so...
Understandable. The helicarrier is a good-looking vehicle.
Yeah. Best character in the MCU. Just take my word on it. Galaga guy is there.
Fair enough. What percent chance do you think... So, what they said... They didn't say that the Netflix heroes would actually be in the movie.
That's not what I
They
heard.
said they are considering it. The quote was, "We do consider everyone."
Right, and so of course, as fans, we have to take that as absolute certain fact that they are in fact going to put all of our heroes into everything.
If there's a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty.
Yes.
To quote the great Bruce Wayne.
In that
not
movie,
so great Bruce Wayne.
He's a pretty good Bruce Wayne.
But anyway, so what percent chance do you think we will actually see the Netflix heroes show up in Infinity War?
All right, I'm going to give you two answers for this.
Okay.
My head
Yes.
says less than 1%.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
My heart says 1,000%.
Okay.
Everyone together, everyone fighting Thanos.
I want to see them show up, even if it's just, it's a montage of Thanos and his army or whatever fucking up Earth, and it cuts to New York, and you see the Defenders fighting aliens or whatever they are for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. In my heart, that seems like it makes sense. It's definitely going to happen. In my head, I'll give it a 1. I will go higher than you and say there's a 1% chance of that actually happening.
I will do a 0.83 repeating chance. I think that is as high as I'm willing to go, and that's me being optimistic.
Yeah.
What I really hope we don't get is them deciding to just in the background have like a newspaper.
Yeah, where it acknowledges their existence but doesn't actually have them.
Yeah, it's like infuriating world building.
Right,
where
right.
It's just like little tiny winks and nods in places, and
it's not enough to be satisfying.
Right. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is really big on those little tiny winks and nods. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is pretty much built on those winks and nods.
Right,
since they can't do more. But I just hope we don't have something in the background like, Vigilante Punisher still on the loose on some headline.
Right.
It just wouldn't ring true. But there's a second part to that, and that
the character that is much more likely to appear.
I think 100% chance likely.
Pretty much, yeah. They've strongly implied that Captain Marvel's going to make her first appearance in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter have her own movie, which, as we know, was announced at San Diego Comic-Con in July. Brie Larson. You and I have not talked about our thoughts on Brie Larson.
I mean, we have.
We have, but not on the show.
Not with you.
But I think we both feel very similarly and very excited.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, ever since she was rumored, which was very early
a while
in the process.
back, yeah.
I mean, it was her and what's her face?
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, and the third one, shaved head.
Natalie Dormer?
Yes.
Who was in Captain America: The First Avenger.
Right. Ever since she was put out there, I sort of had her on my short list.
Yeah.
And of those three that were shortlisted, I think she fits the universe the best.
I agree. I think she fits the universe the best after seeing Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, whatever it's called. I would have been really, really happy to see Emily Blunt.
Yes.
Who's also a little bit older, and one of the complaints against Brie Larson is that she's too young to play somebody with so much military experience. I don't buy it. I think...
Yeah, and, Tony Stark was too young to be a billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Sure.
We can all bring these things up, but it's a fictional movie.
Right.
I can believe that she is the most outstanding military person in the world if you give her a good enough backstory.
Yes, which they're probably going to change a little bit or update because that's a complicated backstory. And, of course, Carol Danvers is not the first Captain Marvel, but she is in this universe, or she's the first one we see at least. Yeah. So they might change her backstory a little bit. So I'm really, really excited to see what they do with the character. But Brie Larson's incredible. If you haven't seen Room, go see Room. It's great.
Not The Room.
Well, see that too.
Just go. You know what? Pause this. Go watch The Room. Come back. You'll be in a much better mood.
Yes.
And then you can.
And then afterwards, go watch Room, and you'll be in a much worse mood.
And then watch The Room again.
Yes.
That's sort of how that works.
But Brie Larson is amazing in Room. She's not very good in The Room, but she's really good in Room.
She played the football.
She played the football in The Room.
In The Room.
In The Room.
It's like comparing Mask and The Mask.
Right. Very different movies.
I mean, well...
And Jim Carrey, good in both.
I really liked him as Cher.
Yeah, he was great as Cher. Role of a lifetime.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how they fit her into an already established universe without giving her a backstory.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I think they'll give her a backstory. I mean, they gave Black Panther and Spider-Man backstories in Civil War.
Yeah, but I feel like Carol Danvers needs a bit more time than Black Panther.
I agree, because her backstory is a little... One, we don't know it like we know Spider-Man's, and two, it's much more complicated and cosmic than Black Panther's.
And that's sort of the thing, is... The other question that I had for you, and I sort of wanted to see what your take on it was, how would you feel if instead of actually getting Captain Marvel, we just got Carol Danvers?
Oh, I'd be totally fine with that.
And then maybe at the end?
I would be completely fine with that, because I think that, especially when you have an actress like Brie Larson, as we move into Phase 4, the old guard is, for contractual reasons, age reasons, all these sorts of reasons, they're going to be filtered out.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be seeing less of Tony Stark, less of Steve Rogers. And I think a natural leader of the Avengers team in Phase 4 is Carol Danvers.
No, I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree
and with somebody like Brie Larson playing her, that makes even more sense. So yeah, getting to know the character even before we get to know the hero, I think that makes total sense. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, and I think someone with military experience makes sense
Sure.
if you're having a not even just a global, but a planetary war.
Right. Yeah.
I think that makes sense where, obviously you're going to have interaction with military personnel of all levels.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I know we've had this hinted, that major characters will die, that...
Of course, yeah.
You sort of have to do that. I think Fury is a real easy target.
Fury, yeah, I can see that.
Fury's a really easy target to kill off, and I think the goal that they should have is to create some sort of vacuum to let some new characters sort of flow.
I agree. Characters like... really powerhouse characters like Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because when you put them on a team, all of a sudden, Iron Man and Captain America start looking a little weak in comparison.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so you start filtering them out or using them a little less and having these much more powerful, bigger characters become the leaders. And I think 4 or 5 years from now, maybe not 4, but 5 or 6 years from now, when people think of the Avengers, they won't think of the original 4 that were in the 2012 movie. Yeah. They'll think of Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Ant-Man.
Yeah, and it'll be like prequels versus original trilogy for Star Wars, where depending on when you started,
right,
that can be your set of movies, your set of stars. But anyone who picks the prequels is just wrong. So, yes. The one other thing that I wanted to ask you about is, I mean, we're sort of edging towards the end of Saga 1 now. Is that what we're calling it?
That's what Feige called it. Yeah. He said, the first 3 phases make up the first chapter in this epic saga, or the first saga in this longer story. Right. Yeah.
So I think it makes the most sense then, and maybe you have another opinion, that we start leading with some new blood.
I agree. Yeah, no, I totally.
You keep a few for continuity.
Keep a few, especially characters that maybe haven't had their own movies. Black Widow, Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I think they can sort of be the old guard. They're the specialists anyway.
Yeah.
And the one that I'm personally most excited about is Spider-Man because of the villains he brings with him.
Yeah.
And Norman Osborn alone and his interactions with the Avengers is going to be worth bringing Spider-Man on.
Well, so you mentioned Spider-Man, and because of the way their Marvel Studios deal with Sony works...
Don't break my heart, Doug.
No, I'm not going to. Because of the way that deal works where, excuse me, where Marvel keeps all the money from Avengers movies that Spider-Man's in, and Sony keeps all the money from standalone movies he's in, I don't think we're ever going to have another Avengers movie without Spider-Man.
No,
or
at
least not for a long while, because Sony wants that character to be huge,
so
that when they have his solo movies, they make them money.
Yeah, it's like when, YouTubers team up.
Right.
Yeah, and you bring someone on because you get their audience. Screen Junkies, call us. It's just a great way to up your audience. It's a great way to recognize that what you're doing is in concert with another, and that your audience can help someone else, and their audience can help you.
Yeah. So I think Sony will want Spider-Man to show up in as many Avengers movies as possible.
It's free advertising.
So sure, I definitely think he'll be a major part of the team moving forward.
And I think that's all the more reason why we definitely will not get any of the Netflix heroes.
Right, yeah.
Coming in is because not only do you have this raft of talent you need to support, you have new talent that you need to rise up through the ranks to be the next saga in your story. And so, as much as I would love to see Daredevil alone.
Daredevil would be great. Jessica Jones would be great. Luke Cage comes out in a few weeks, and reviews are amazing for it. Yeah. And I guess he is referred to at one point as Harlem's Captain America, which makes sense after seeing him in Jessica Jones. And I would love to see those two interact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they have pretty similar personalities.
Well, and we know that Cap really respects anyone from New York.
That too, yeah. You get...
Where are you from? Queens.
Brooklyn. Yeah, that's great. And then you got Luke Cage from Harlem, so you got 3 of the 5 boroughs represented.
Who would be the Staten Island?
The Staten Island Avenger. That's a series of movies.
He'd be called the Trash Man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Staten Islanders.
What are we missing?
What are we missing?
Yeah. Oh, the Bronx.
There's got to be someone.
There's got to be somebody, yeah.
I think Staten Island is probably one that just isn't represented, or at least well.
Because why would it?
I'm sure there's someone who's passed on a page of a comic at some point that's from Staten Island technically, but whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking
of the Netflix heroes in New York,
let's keep going with our heroes in New York, because there is some amazing news in Story 2, which is that Jessica Jones won the Emmy for title music, which is the first Emmy.
First Emmy for Marvel TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is just absolutely incredible.
And well-deserved. I love their title music.
We were rocking out to it.
Yes, we were, before we started.
Yeah, we were playing a little air guitar. It is an incredible bit of music.
Yeah.
And the question is, does it deserve it more than Daredevil?
I think that the music in the Jessica Jones theme is better than the music in the Daredevil theme.
Okay.
But I think that the opening sequence with the blood or whatever, the red in the Daredevil scene. I think the Daredevil opening titles look better than the Jessica Jones one did. The Jessica Jones looked great as well. But I liked the music in Jessica Jones better than the music in Daredevil.
And I will disagree with you. I actually prefer the reverse.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Jessica Jones music is amazing. I don't think it fits the show.
That's exactly why I prefer the Daredevil one, because it fits the show perfectly.
Right. I love the Jessica Jones visuals, and I find that I would skip the Daredevil intro more often than not. It just seemed to drag for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I did, especially in season 2. After the first few episodes, I was like, okay, I get it. I'll skip through it.
Oh, good. Lady Justice is blindfolded again.
Yeah, I don't remember skipping the Jessica Jones title ever.
Just that eye blink.
Yeah.
Just got me every time. And it had such a cool noir feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
the visuals of the Jessica Jones opening sequence fit the show perfectly.
Right, and that's why I love it.
Yeah.
The music is great music. I just always felt it was music for a different show.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and so for me, it's a bit surprising that it won, but congratulations, Marvel. I think this is well earned. It's probably one of the few awards that they haven't yet gotten anything from.
I don't think they've gotten an Oscar either.
Haven't they? I feel like they've gotten one of the technical ones or a couple.
They haven't, because there's always been that one other movie that comes out in whatever year with more impressive visual effects.
I'm checking.
But speaking of Emmys they didn't win,
okay.
This year Jessica Jones was also nominated for Outstanding Main Title Design.
Which should have won. Come on, what beat it?
I don't know.
Exactly. Nobody knows.
And Daredevil was nominated for Outstanding Stunt Coordination, Outstanding Sound Editing. So...
yeah, I think all of those are deserved. I think they probably deserve a few more wins than what they got.
I agree.
Maybe we're biased?
We are, of course. Did you find what MCU Oscars? I'm pretty sure they haven't won one.
I'm now just on the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki.
Sure.
And, oh man, Danny Boyan and, Jose Andre. Oh, what are these guys? Sorry, I'm just watching videos at this point. I can't find it easily, but we will assume that they don't have any.
They'll get one eventually.
Yeah.
I see. Like
Iron Man was nominated for 2.
Right.
And that looks...
They've been nominated for VFX a bunch of times, but they'll be up against Interstellar or Transformers or Planet of the Apes or whatever.
How is Transformers still getting award nods?
Because as bad as those movies are, those Transformers look cool.
They all look like the same Transformer.
Yeah, fair.
They all look like Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Every Transformer is Optimus Prime, and I'm pretty sure that is actually Michael Bay's direction. Like, that design looks great, but could you make it look more like Optimus Prime?
Right. And then last year, Ant-Man looked great, but I'm pretty sure Mad Max won, deservedly.
Well, Mad Max was the master of,
invisible
effects.
Right.
And when you don't notice them, it's the best.
And then this year, I don't see how anything... Doctor Strange might look amazing. I don't see how anything's going to beat Jungle Book.
That's true. Favreau.
Marvel
gave you your big chance to touch on Disney stories, and now you screw us over.
Yep.
Happy Hogan.
Oh, speaking of Happy Hogan, I don't think we covered this last week, but this news dropped last week. Did you see Happy Hogan is going to be in Spider-Man Homecoming?
I mean, I knew it because you told me that it was going to happen, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
I absolutely love Happy Hogan. I want to know, though, are we ever going to get him and Pepper?
Together?
I mean, we know that Tony and she broke up.
Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to get anybody in Pepper because I think Gwyneth Paltrow's done.
Is her contract actually up?
Her contract's up, yeah, and they didn't feel like renewing it, so that's why they're on break in Civil War.
So they had a conscious uncoupling.
Well, I guess, and I don't know if this is a rumor or fact or something, but I heard that in an original early draft, the plan was for Pepper to be pregnant.
And a little Iron Baby.
With a little Iron Baby. And Cap actually, they kind of make a nod to that when Tony's telling Cap that he and Pepper are on a break. He goes, Pepper and I are, and Steve interrupts and goes, pregnant? And but I don't know if that's true or rumor, but they cut that because they didn't want to renegotiate Gwyneth's contract.
Or maybe they just didn't want to give Disney the chance to have like some spin-off TV show with little tiny baby Iron Man.
You don't want a Muppets Babies style Avengers TV show?
Now that you say
because
like
I do.
I would watch that. Iron babies will make your dreams come true. Maybe not dreams come true.
You just have Tony, baby Tony, addicted to milk from the bottle, and
you're gonna have to really stretch that.
Yeah.
He's addicted to candy.
There you go.
And everyone's trying to get him to stop eating so much candy.
And he still has the arc reactor, which means that baby Tony was involved in a terrorist kidnapping and a bombing that put shrapnel in his chest. Very tragic backstories for these babies. Not the same for the Muppets. Muppets don't have tragic backstories.
Really, I feel like
Gonzo has a tragic backstory. And really, Fozzie does too.
Lots of tears.
Fozzie's backstory is basically the first half of the Joker's backstory in The Killing Joke. It's just him right before he does a robbery and turns into the Joker.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would you know what? I would watch a version of
Muppets Batman. Oh my god, I would watch that.
Yeah.
So yes, like a Muppets Christmas Carol version of a DC movie. Yeah.
Yes. DC, are you listening? We just fixed your entire slate.
And because Disney owns the Muppets, it would be done by Disney, which means we'd actually get a good DC movie.
With Muppets.
Kermit would be Batman, obviously.
Would he?
Yeah.
Who would Piggy?
No.
Piggy would be Black Widow. Oh wait, no, wrong
this is
wrong
DC.
universe. Sorry.
Piggy would be Wonder Woman.
Piggy would be Wonder
Well,
Woman.
no, not if you did a Batman movie. Is it a Justice League movie or is it a Batman movie?
Well, you know what? That's the question that DC is asking itself right now too.
Because really, because in a Justice League movie, Piggy's Wonder Woman, but in a Muppets Batman movie, Piggy is Catwoman.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Or Poison Ivy.
No, it's got to be Catwoman. To see her,
Poison Ivy. It's Catwoman.
Pig woman. Nope, that one doesn't
Doesn't work.
Does not work.
You got Gonzo probably as like Alfred.
Really? Because I feel like more
Yeah,
like
no, he's too silly.
Skeeter or Scooter.
There you go. You have the Swedish Chef as Commissioner Gordon.
Well, clearly, yeah. What are you saying? Literally, what are you saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'd watch that.
I'd watch it.
DC,
Somebody
make it happen.
write it.
Yeah, so someone in the comments write an entire script.
Write a DC, a Muppets Batman movie in the comments. Show your work, and we will credit you and perform a scene from it on next episode of MCUEx.
He will perform a scene.
I will perform a scene from it on next episode.
Good.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, please.
So this is just a few days ago, Marvel announced their lineup for New York Comic Con, which is coming up in just a few weeks. We will be there. They have a bunch of panels, but really only two that are relevant to the MCU. They have on Friday evening their Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel. And just like last year, they're going to be showing the following Tuesday's episode in advance to the attendees, which I think is the 4th episode of the season. Mm-hmm. And it does say it features Ghost Rider. And it's a panel moderated by Jeff Loeb with cast members from the show. Sure to be a good time. So I'm excited for that, but I'm way more excited
That's why I was being silent.
Yes, for Saturday's panel, which is an Iron Fist panel. Which makes sense because last year, with Jessica Jones coming out in November, October was a great time for a Jessica Jones panel. They showed people in attendance the first episode.
Right.
I was very jealous. I was in line. I did not go in. This year, with Luke Cage coming out a week or two before Comic-Con, it's not like they can do a Luke Cage panel. So they're doing an Iron Fist panel, and they're showing... Obviously, they're not going to be able to show a full episode, but they're showing clips and footage, and it is the first time that the cast is appearing on stage together, which is very exciting.
Wow.
And I'm sure there will be some surprises, like some casting news.
They have to. I mean...
Yeah, they'll announce who's playing the villain or Shang-Chi or somebody exciting.
It's far enough out that they have so many good surprises that they could just drop. and
I just poured water all over myself. Yep.
You're that excited.
I'm so excited, I can't keep my mouth closed.
Iron Fist and Paper Jaw.
Yes.
No, I think it's incredible, and I really want to see what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
Because they could honestly reveal so much right now.
Yeah, they could.
And
I mean, other than Colleen Wing and Iron Fist and the Meachums, we don't know. Right, we have cast members. We don't know who's playing who.
No.
We don't even really know the villain.
Right.
We can assume certain things, but we don't know.
Yeah, and it'll be good. Hopefully, maybe there's some swag to take away.
Oh, I hope so.
Some Iron Fist swag.
I hope so.
Like those giant Hulk gloves made of iron.
Yeah, those would be easy to carry.
I just wear them.
Giant iron fists.
Yeah.
What if all the Marvel superheroes' names were literal? Hawkeye, literally one of his eyes was a hawk.
A Black Widow.
A Black Widow.
Her husband died.
Yes.
And it's terrible.
Yep. It's awful for her.
She's just crying all the time.
And Iron Fist, of course, has just metal Hulk hands.
Is that not what he is? Is he not Colossus?
No, he is not. Different Marvel universe.
Yeah. Which Marvel universe has which Colossus?
Well, that depends on whoever's running whichever Fox movie is coming out that year.
Yeah. I mean, I think of the Colossi that we have.
The one in Deadpool was the best.
Yes. Absolutely.
Clearly, yeah.
I mean, self-referential, meta, like, hilarious Colossus wins.
Fantastic.
Every single time. So unless we get one that's a miracle, which would be hilarious for them to try it too. Just Marvel asserting their dominance over their own IP and going, you know what? Everyone's a miracle now. Guess what? We got a new character. Guess what his name is? Magneto.
Or they just changed it slightly. It's Magneto. Magento. They got a new guy. His name's Logan. He has claws. He goes by the Bandicoot. Yeah.
Keep going.
Shit. I only
One
had
more.
the two. And Professor
R.
Professor R. Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
Professor R.
And they're all miracles.
And they're all miracles.
And then, let's see. Loner. She has really stupid powers. And because she can siphon people's powers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then Celebration, who just shoots fireworks.
Celebration. Okay. But so, yeah, Iron Fist to me is the more exciting of these two panels. But I'm excited for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which comes back in just a few days.
Yes.
And we talked last week a little bit about Ghost Rider.
A little tiny bit.
But since then, we've gotten a new poster for Ghost Rider, or for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which gives us a better look at Ghost Rider.
And he's a flaming skull.
He's a flaming skull,
Surprise.
which is good. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. What do you think?
I am still withholding judgment.
Yeah, fair enough.
I need to see how they handle this. Right now, I do like that the interpretation of the costume is pretty true to the comics.
Yeah.
But it's a little too clean for the universe they're in.
Yeah.
In my mind.
I see what you're saying.
But I'll withhold judgment because, hey, maybe they'll really knock it out of the park. And maybe the outfit will make sense. Maybe, I mean, I am critiquing a character whose head is a skull on fire.
Right.
So maybe magically cleaning clothes is part of that ensemble of powers.
The devil cleans his clothes.
Yeah. Oh, man, how great would that be?
He plays fiddle and takes souls, and he has a quota for some reason, because in that song he's way behind, and then he cleans clothes. He runs a laundromat.
Just the devil woke up late that day. He was in behind because he was way behind. No one knows what we're referencing, by the way.
Oh, they did? The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Everybody knows that song.
Do they? Do that? My one experience with The Devil Went Down to Georgia is that back when I did karate as a kid, we used to do a demonstration choreographed to The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
I would pay so much money to see that.
Yeah, little fat me fighting with a bow staff.
Oh, that's amazing.
And like choreographed cartwheels and jumping over and knocking the other guy down. It was great.
Why are we doing this show? We should be uploading that video.
There's no video of it.
Oh, man.
There's no video of me doing karate.
The world
at
was
all.
terrible before everything was videotaped.
You know what there is, though? there are 2 pictures of me performing magic at the karate talent show. Because it wasn't enough that you were good at karate.
I'm sorry, the karate talent show?
Yeah, so they were looking for more ways to keep us around.
Sure,
so that they
your
could
dojo.
Right, to keep charging us money. Mm-hmm. And they were like, hey, you know what's an event we could do? A talent show. Because...
Did people do karate as their talent, or was it a non-karate related talent?
Some people did do karate as their talent.
All right.
They did not win. Actually, I feel like everyone got, like, participation awards.
Sure.
But I did magic, and there exists a video, or not a video, but 2 pictures of me wearing a top hat in a karate outfit.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Doing magic. Because nothing goes with a top hat like a karate outfit.
Well, I have a new life mission to find those pictures.
They exist nowhere online because they were actual photographs.
Oh man, the world was terrible.
You can talk to my mother about those.
I will. I will be talking to her after this.
Tell her I said hi.
I will.
So, speaking of things that my mother is excited for, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
She better be excited for that. You listening? You're excited for it, whether you like it or not. Here's a story that Chadwick Boseman came out and praised Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Okay.
Now, let's explain. Doug was completely unaware I was going to talk about this today.
I know of this story. Didn't
Right.
know that it was important enough to make the show, but explain your thoughts.
The reason why is because this story angers me so much.
Why?
I'm going to just read the Chadwick Boseman quote.
Okay.
Oh, he's great. I think he's great. Off to a good start.
Sure.
I can't wait to see what he does. Me neither, Chadwick. His humor, the hipness of the character, the youth of the character, it's a fresh take on something I really love.
What's wrong with that?
That is the definition of Spider-Man. He's a hip, young...
It's a fresh take in the movies.
Right, because we got Tobey Maguire, who was a great Peter Parker. Awful Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know. Those movies don't hold up as well as people say they do.
2 holds up. No one can ever say anything bad about 2.
Okay, well, I will keep my mouth shut, but
Don't you dare.
I love the Sam Raimi movies. They don't hold up as well as people think.
I will watch them tonight just to spite you, Doug. Peter Parker, brilliant but lazy. Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina is a great Doc Ock.
And, hold on, you've seen him in the behind-the-scenes thing where he's singing as Tevye?
No.
Guess what, guys? We're going to do some Googling right
no.
now, and then hopefully we'll magic up the video so that you can watch it too, because it's super awesome.
Probably not, because copyright.
This one might not if you do it like in a tiny frame right here.
I don't know.
So
Is it really worth the risk?
Mute the audio.
Mute the audio.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. YouTube, work on that. Hold on. Alfred Molina.
But while you're looking that up, I think that, I mean, what else is Boseman going to say? He's doing the same thing that the other 2 guys did, so that's cool, I guess? No, he's going to say he's doing something new and exciting with it.
I just feel like it shows how wide the net that Marvel has cast has become. It feels like Chadwick doesn't have an understanding of the character. Because look, I grew up on Spider-Man, I grew up on Batman, and I grew up on Superman. Those are my 3 heroes.
Those are everybody's 3, right.
And I loved that he was young. I loved that he was...
In the comics, yeah.
Right.
But I think, and I'm giving Boseman the benefit of the doubt here, I think that what he was referring to is that we haven't really seen a great version of comic book Peter Parker in the movies, really ever, because... Even Tobey Maguire was out of high school by Spider-Man 2.
Just by about 20 years.
Right. Oh, yeah, and Tobey Maguire was much older than Tom Holland. And Andrew Garfield was not Peter Parker for a whole bunch of reasons. He was a skateboard punk kid.
He was like if one of the members of One Direction.
And also, Amazing Spider-Man 2 ruined the greatest thing about Peter Parker, which is that he's a random kid who just gets chanced into these powers.
But the magic token.
Instead, they gave him, like, magic special blood so that it was his destiny to become Spider-Man. What kind of bullshit is that?
You think that's the same magic special blood from the second Star Trek movie?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I think that's the only way it could be. By the way, Ock Singing.
And we will put this video between our heads.
If I were a rich man.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
He was preparing to be Teddy at the time.
Oh, the arms, that's great.
So yeah, that was a special feature hidden away on the DVD. It was the second disc, and you had to press like up, left, over. You had to use like the Konami code,
right,
to get to this thing. And I remember just watching it endlessly on that DVD. It was pretty fantastic. But yeah, I think, look, I will agree that Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man and the best Peter Parker that we've had. Like, bar none, full stop, end of story. But I think that there are many things you can praise about his performance. There are many things you can praise about how true he's being to the comics while still bringing his own slant to it, without saying, you know, it's amazing that he's young. Because that's sort of the point of Spider-Man.
It's the point of the comic book Spider-Man.
Right.
And I think maybe this is a poorly phrased version of what I would say, which is it's great that we're finally seeing it translated to the movies in a way that hasn't really been done.
No, and I would agree with that. But I just wish that I think I'm arguing from a nerd's perspective, which is this is my character, and you know, I went to see all the Spider-Man movies when they came out, no matter how bad.
Yep.
And
same.
I defended Spider-Man 3 for like a week after it came out, and then decided never to do that again. I've probably only watched it maybe 3 times.
I've only seen it once.
Have you?
Yeah.
You're lucky. One, I've watched hundreds.
Yeah, I've seen one. I might have seen one more than I saw 2, actually.
No, I definitely did, because I watched it until 2 came out.
Right.
On loop. There was a point where I was counting how many times I would watch it. And
then you lost count?
I lost count over 120.
Wow. That's a lot.
That is a lot. Kids, you don't know how lucky you are to have Netflix these days. To be able to watch whatever you want. I was stuck with a single Spider-Man DVD, stuck in my computer at all times.
Sure.
And I would watch that. And then people defended The Amazing Spider-Man.
I didn't hate The Amazing Spider-Man.
I did.
I thought that it was a mediocre movie that could have set up a cool franchise if the next one was better.
They essentially put the Catwoman basketball scene into the movie.
With the crane scene? Or which scene are you talking about?
The actual basketball scene they have in it.
Oh, yeah, okay, I forgot. Yes, yeah.
See? So it's not as schlocky as the Catwoman basketball scene.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have a scene where he goes, hey, new superpowers. I'm going to use these to play basketball.
What is it with basketball scenes in superhero movies? They're never good.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they had the long, like, Michael Jordan, like, slow-mo, like, breaks the backboard type thing.
And the ball was, like, sticking to his fingers or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And he, like, so it looks like he's palming it, being real cool.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And all Halle Berry had was just dribbling between the legs, so she at least had some talent.
Has there ever been a good basketball scene? I feel like if
Space Jam.
in a superhero movie. Although Space Jam, kind of a superhero movie.
In a way.
Michael Jordan is a real life hero. I don't know if I stand by that, actually.
Doug, immediately backing away from his position.
He's an impressive athlete.
He really is, except in baseball.
And a good spokesman for Hanes.
Tagless tees.
Tagless tees, man.
Is this a tag? Hold on. Is this?
It has a tag. You're disappointing.
Is it Hanes, though?
I don't know.
Too much effort. Maybe it's Fruit of the Loom. I thought it was a Hanes. Nick Fox, not even knowing what he's wearing today.
What are we talking about? Basketball? What the fuck are we talking about? Let's move on.
We were talking about Spider-Man.
Oh, right.
But there are other bigger heroes currently in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they've had many movies.
Yes.
And I think you should talk about one of those.
I will. And this is a story that I was surprised to find out, don't know about.
No idea.
This has been a rumor for a while, basically since Iron Man 3 came out. But Rebecca Hall, the actress who played Maya Hansen, just talked about it and confirmed the rumor. Okay, you're already angry over Boseman's comments. Get ready to be more angry.
Oh, no.
So everybody...
Is this what this show is just going to become? Is me being disappointed by things?
Probably.
So last time around, we have me hearing the title of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going,
Yeah.
And this week it's going to be, they're revealing some villain, and I'm going to be like, really?
So, a lot of people, their biggest problem with Iron Man 3 was the Mandarin reveal, that it was actually Aldrich Killian the entire time. Well, apparently, the original version of the story was going to have Maya Hansen, Rebecca Hall's character, as the primary antagonist, or at least a major antagonist in the movie.
Okay.
Bigger than Killian.
Okay.
But it was rewritten because Ike Perlmutter, the lovely, lovely head of Marvel, who thankfully Marvel Studios is no longer answering to, was concerned that they would not sell toys as well if it was a female villain.
Okay.
So Maya Hansen was rewritten from a major antagonist to a tertiary character that gets shot randomly. And so Rebecca Hall was being interviewed about it, and she said, that's 100% true. I've been gagging to talk about it with someone, but I haven't had the opportunity, weirdly. I signed on to do something that was a substantial role. I signed on to do something very different to what I ended up doing. Halfway through shooting, they were basically like, what would you think if she just got shot out of nowhere? I grappled with them for a while, and then I said, well, you have to give me a decent death scene, and you have to give me one more scene with Iron Man, which Robert Downey Jr. supported me on. So, yeah.
I mean, that's a fair term.
And that makes so much more sense to have her be the villain. Because Extremis is not Aldrich Killian's thing.
No.
It's her thing. Yeah. And in Iron Man 3, she's shown to be the one who invented it.
Yeah.
So I think having her pull the strings of the Mandarin is a much more interesting reveal than Killian.
Here's my first thought, though.
Okay.
Because this is really the first time I'm hearing this. And it does make sense. But do we fall into Dark Knight Rises territory?
Where the big scary villain is actually being controlled by
a young female that's been in the room the entire time?
Yeah. And who's kind of a love interest.
Which came out first?
Dark Knight Rises was 2012, right? And Iron Man 3 was May of 2013.
Dark Knight Rises was 12.
Iron Man 3 I know was May 2013 because it was a year after the Avengers.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, there's also the potential that maybe someone besides Ike, maybe he was just the bearer of bad news. Maybe he was pushing it and it was just eventually it became that. It feels...
The stories I've heard about Ike Perlmutter suggest that he is just a race... There is a reason that as soon as he's out of the picture, we start seeing Tessa Thompson cast as Valkyrie. We start seeing a mostly non-white Spider-Man Homecoming cast. Right. We have a Captain Marvel movie. We have a Black Panther movie. There's a reason none of these things happened until after Perlmutter wasn't controlling Marvel Studios.
After Perlmutter. Perlmutter.
After Perlmutter.
Yeah, it's just... I'm not sure I would have liked the movie any better. You know I'm not a fan of Iron Man 3.
Yeah, we talked about this before we started. I like Iron Man 3 as a Shane Black movie. It's not a great Iron Man movie.
No. I prefer Iron Man 2. I know that's heresy. I actually enjoyed Iron Man 2. I don't understand why people hate Iron Man 2. People have explained to me why they hate Iron Man 2, and it doesn't make any sense. I actually found it to be a decent movie. I've seen the different ending that exists for it, and don't like it.
What's the different ending?
There's an unfinished effects version of the ending. They basically CGI'd in the entire ending that we currently have.
Right.
And it's just a different fight. Iron Man gets out of his suit.
Okay, so the plot's not very different. It's just
the actual fight is significantly different.
Right.
And it's more one-on-one. It's more personal between Tony and Ivanko.
Okay.
But you should check it out sometime. We won't here, but I'm sure go in the related links there. Maybe they're there, but it's worth checking out. It didn't come out until a couple years after the movie. But in terms of Iron Man 3, this wouldn't have fixed my problems with it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the fact that The Dark Knight Rises came out a year prior, and people didn't like the twist in that. They didn't like having what's her face, Talia.
Talia, yeah.
They didn't like that twist. I mean, if you disagree, feel free. But by and
No, I
large,
think that was. I mean, Dark Knight Rises is it's kind of similarly received to Iron Man 3. Not,
agree.
Not hated, but considered a disappointment.
yeah, it could have been better.
Could have been better.
With this though, it's nice that Ike is gone because. I mean, toyetics, which is the word for it, by the way, toyetics is what ruined Batman the first time around.
Is it? Oh, right, because Joel
Schumacher.
Schumacher got taken over because his movies would make better McDonald's toys than Burton's.
And that's called toyetics when it's in a movie. And by the fourth one of those, by the fourth Schumacher Batman, they actually had toy manufacturers coming into the design process in order to say, could we make this bigger or brighter or bluer? Or could we do it this way because it'll be easier to make a toy that way?
Right.
And they would sketch things back and forth with them during pre-production. And so if it's ever a question of will this make a good toy, that executive should always go away.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, that's just my opinion because every time I've ever seen toyetics come to play, it just never leads to a good movie. But
Sure. I mean, why would it?
But the resulting movie we get didn't have more toy potential.
Right.
We didn't get any more toy potential out of this. So that's why it really doesn't solve any problems that I had with the movie. And that's...
Also, a female villain wouldn't sell toys. Who has an Aldrich Killian toy? Do you really?
No.
Of course you don't.
Did they even make one?
They might have, but I'm sure they didn't sell all that well. I know they made, like, the Mandarin, like, Hot Toys figure.
Right. I saw that. There seems to be like a knockoff Lego Aldrich Killian.
Exactly. So, like, when you're doing an Iron Man movie, your toys are... How about the, like, 40 different Iron Man suits?
We got
were
like
in
a
them?
Hot Toys style. I don't think
Sure,
it's actually Hot Toys.
But there would have been one of those for Maya Hansen. Yeah, your toys for an Iron Man movie with the Iron Legion in it are the 42 different Iron Man suits that were in that movie. Okay, that's an anatomically correct Aldrich Killian doll.
Who knew you need one of those? Apparently Ike did.
We will not be putting that photo anywhere.
Just use your imagination.
Just use your imagination. Picture Guy Pearce naked.
As I'm sure most of you were doing anyway.
Many of you already probably were.
Yeah. Yeah. So... Oh, wait, no. I think we have a proper Lego.
Okay, point being.
Yeah.
It's not like Killian made them billions in toys.
No. And that's my entire point is I think this was fixing a problem that didn't exist in the movie.
Absolutely.
Would I have loved to have seen the original vision? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't think it affected the final product as much as I hope it would have. Mm-hmm. Because it'd be great to have something to hang my hat on and say, well, that's what ruined it for me.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being sort of like the whole
To
thing.
point to one single thing and say, this is why it was disappointing.
But really, I could be like, oh, it was the House Party Protocol. It
might have been better with the original vision, but it wouldn't have been the great finale of the Iron Man trilogy that we were all hoping for.
Yeah. And so I think that's going to do it this week.
That is it, yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us this week, guys. Make sure that you are subscribed to us on YouTube and like this video. Also, check out MCUExchange.com for everything related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. News, features, all that good stuff. And follow us on Twitter at the MCU Exchange or on Facebook just at MCU Exchange. And that's going to do it for us, I think. Thanks so much, guys. Once again, I'm Doug Herring.
I'm Nick Fox.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Shrek 2. Mm-hmm. Shrek 3D.
Okay.
Shrek Ever After.
I think it's 4 Ever After. You got to get the 4 pun in there.
The Shrekening.
Shrek 5 the Shrekening.
Right. T-Shreks.
T-Shrek.
It's
where he goes back in time.
Right.
To the Paleolithic era.
Right. And then he comes back to present day and all dinosaurs look like him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he fucked so many dinosaurs.
Shrek 7. Surprisingly, there was no Shrek 7.
Wait, no Shrek
They
7?
just skipped it and went right to Shrek 8.
Which was called?
It was called 8 is Enough, but it wasn't because then they made a Shrek 9.
Shrek 9.
which I don't have a funny title for.
No subtitle, just Shrek 9.
They actually, on Shrek 10, though, they decided to pull a little bit of Fast and Furious, and they decided to just call it Shrek again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to really throw you off.
Uh-huh.
And then after that was Ek 11. And then the one after that was 12.
Got it.
Yeah. And then, but it was stylized so that the 12 sort of looked like EK.
Yeah. Sure, because those letters look exactly like a 12.
You hand it to a marketing department and they'll make anything happen. And then the rest were just, they were direct to DVD.
Shrek the 13th.
Shrek the 13th. Yeah, that was a horror movie.
That was the crossover with Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it was really bizarre, and he was the most terrifying thing about it.
Yeah.
As he is in every movie.
Well, because when he puts on the Michael Myers mask, and he's voiced by Mike Myers, it's doubly terrifying.